Let's talk about the ethics of sourcing. By now, most students have had the rules and expectations of APA styled drilled into their heads. All the minutiae of APA fills precious room in your brain and is constantly discussed in your courses. What hasn't been discussed, however, is the why. Why is it important to cite sources? Why is it important to give credit to someone else's work? This presentation goes at it from the ethical standpoint. What the presentation doesn't cover, however, is why someone who is a person of faith must cite and reference sources. What does the Bible have to say about honesty and integrity in writing? When the Bible was written, there were no computers and fairly few books. The Bible does not take a side on MLA versus APA, nor does it write about how to use quotation marks. What it does do, however, is focus on the honesty and integrity of God's people. In Corinthians 8:21, it says, "For we are taking pains to do what is right, not only in the eyes of the Lord, but also in the eyes of man." Proverbs 12:17 says, "An honest witness tells the truth, but a false witness tells lies." There are countless other passages that exhort God's people to deal with each other honestly and with integrity. While every writer is bound by an ethical imperative, a Christian is bound by the biblical imperative. And it is important for your faith when you give credit where credit is due. God calls us to act with honesty and integrity, and to do so in all areas of our lives. Keep in mind, when you are citing and referencing sources, you are not only fulfilling your ethical duty to give credit, it's also following God's expectations for his people. It's an act of faith and an act of worship in following God's laws for his people.